am Sabrina Zupko with Communication Theory at Liberty University. I am going to be doing a presentation over trait theory and communication. Do you think about how much your personality influences your communication? It may influence it more than you think. Communication is the act or process of using words, sounds, signs, or behaviors to express or exchange thoughts and feelings to someone else. The communication process starts with the sender, who sends a message which is then encoded by the receiver and then decoded. Feedback is presented back to the sender and the communication process is complete. Most people think of this when thinking about verbal communications. I say hi, you say hi back. I sent you a message, you responded, the communication process is complete. However, communication involves more than just verbal communication. The way that you present yourself, your body language, to the print that you see, all of that is part of communication. So if you see an ad and you run out and buy the item that is in the ad, you have completed the communication process because they sent you a message which was to buy their product, and you completed the process by doing what they asked. That sends the feedback that their product is worth your time and money. Now, if you chose not to go buy their product, you still completed the process because you said their product's not worth your time or money, which is feedback. Now, whenever I kept thinking about trait theory, personality kept coming to mind. To me, they're synonymous. Trait theory is an individual's relatively consistent way of thinking and behaving across certain situations based on communication, whereas personality is what causes the person to behave a certain way based on their emotions, thinking, and or the way that they feel. I looked at various models for trait theory, and I decided to go with the 5-factor model of personality. It's also known as the Big Five, and the reason why I chose this is because it got its start in the 1940s dealing with psychology. It was revamped in the 1960s and again in the 1990s to become what we know today is the 5-factor model, or the Big Five. It shows the relationship between personality and behavior, and it's used in a wide variety of disciplines from psychology to business to communications, and it has relatively consistent results across both time and discipline. So it is a very effective model to look at. Now, the 5-factor model of personality covers 5 traits. These traits include agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, neuroticism, and openness. When looking at these traits, you also have to consider the behaviors associated with communication and these traits, which include avoidance, conflict, criticism, dominance, problem-solving, support, validation, and withdrawal. Now, when looking at these traits, if you want to look at them in positive and negative light, you can say that avoidance, conflict, criticism, and withdrawal are negative traits to have, and problem-solving, support, and validation are positive. Dominance can be either or. Agreeable individuals tend to be altruistic, compliant, community-oriented, cooperative, helpful, interpersonal, modest, reliable, straightforward, sympathetic, tender-minded, and trustworthy. It is one of the top traits to have for communications. The reason why is because individuals that are trusting are more likely to communicate openly. And studies have found that relationships hinge on the foundation of trust. And the better a relationship, the better communication. So the more trust that there is, the better the communication, and the better the message is going to be sent and received. Agreeable behaviors include problem solving, support, and validation, which are all positive traits on communication. Problem solving is going to avoid conflict. If you're supportive, obviously that's positive. If you validate the feelings and thoughts of someone else, again, those are all positive traits. Positive behaviors. Conscientious traits include achievement-oriented, careful, competent, controlling, deliberating, diligent, dutiful, efficient, fair, focused, orderly, organized, regulating, self-disciplined, and striving. This is the top set of traits to have for communication. The reason why is because conscientiousness is necessary for social skills, and strong social skills are necessary for positive social interactions. These characteristics definitely make this the strongest trait for communication. In fact, I would like to share a quote by Witt and Ferris. They say conscientiousness predicts interpersonal facilitation because conscientious workers are likely to listen and attend to details important to others, respect social protocol, and be thorough in following up on matters important to others, creating the impression of cooperation and sensitivity. Again, conscientious behaviors include dominance, problem solving, support, and validation. Problem solving, support, and validation are positive traits. However, dominance again can go either way. If someone is dominant, they're going to control the situation, which can be positive as long as the other person is okay with that and it doesn't become too overbearing. But if you have two dominant individuals trying to communicate, obviously there can be some conflict there, or if you are overly dominant, it can cause someone to withdraw. So it's important to pay attention to those possible negative traits when communicating. Extroverts are social butterflies. They're active, emotionally positive, excitement-seeking, expressive, gregarious, which means they enjoy groups. They're socially assertive, talkative, and warm. These individuals display positive characteristics for communicating, especially because they enjoy it so much. However, these individuals display dominance, support, and validation. While support and validation are positive traits to have, they can be overly dominant because they're so assertive. So if they're communicating with someone that is not very assertive, then it can definitely cause some conflict and some withdrawal there. Neuroticism is the one set of trait characteristics that are negative. Neuroticism includes anger, anxiousness, depression, emotional instability, hostility, impulsiveness, moodiness, pessimism, self-consciousness, shyness, being tense, and being vulnerable. All of these can negatively impact communication. However, out of the 5 traits, this one is the one that is most likely to be able to be changed by the individual. Because neurotic traits tend to come from underlying issues such as depression or anxiety, those situations can be treated through counseling and medication and various other things. And as that is treated, then these traits can be changed into positive traits. And once that happens, then they may not display any neurotic traits. However, that's not to say that some individuals aren't prone to neuroticism. Neurotic behaviors include avoidance, conflict, criticism, and withdrawal. Obviously, if someone's going to avoid you, it's going to be hard to communicate. If they withdraw, again, if there's conflict, that's never going to be a good thing. And if they're overly critical and just see things for the worst, those are not going to be positive traits in communication. Again, they can, if they treat the underlying cause of these feelings, then their communication will be better. Openness includes cognitively creative and imaginative individuals who enjoy novelty and variety. They favor fantasy, aesthetics, feelings, actions, ideas, values, intellectually curious. They're out-of-the-box thinkers. These are your Leonardo da Vinci's, your Einsteins. You don't have to be a genius to be in this category. I'm just saying that these individuals favor cognitive activities, intellectual activities, creativeness, these type of things. All those things are positive on communication, and they're problem solvers, they're supportive, they're validating. The only issue in communication that these individuals may have is they can be passionate about intellectual things. They tend to debate, which can cause conflict if someone is not expecting a debate or does not appreciate a debate. So they just need to be careful in those regards. And if you're talking to someone that is really smart and they try to debate with you, it doesn't mean that they're trying to be right. It just is part of who they are and how they express themselves. Again, just a quick review. The 5-factor model of personality involves agreeableness, conscientiousness, extroversion, neuroticism, openness, and the behaviors displayed include avoidance, conflict, criticism, dominance, problem solving, support, validation, and withdrawal. Thank you for listening to my presentation.